Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this Lenovo Legion 5 Pro. This is a 16ITH6H. Alright, we're going to be using a PH0 or JS0 screwdriver. We're going to remove all the screws from the bottom. I want to keep the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put them flat side down like that on my desk in the pattern I remove them. Alright, so we got 4 going along here, 1 on either side, and then another 4 going along the front. Okay, again, keep them in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths, and if you put the wrong screws in the wrong place, you can damage the computer. So this laptop is having some fan issues where it makes some like buzzing sound and then the fan just completely stops. So we're going to see if we can grease the fan to get it to work normally. Alright, so we'll get all these screws out. So far all the screws seem to be about the same length and size, but it's always a good idea to keep them in order just in case. Alright, I'm pretty sure these are much shorter, the ones at the front. Okay. Alright, hopefully once we get all these screws out, the bottom cover will pop out pretty easy. Okay. Last screw here. There we go. Alright, now that we got all the screws out, let's go ahead and see if we can pop this open. So first thing, I like to get my fingernails in the gap here, and then I'm going to see if we can pop it out like other models or if it's different. Okay, so I'll push with my thumbs on the palm rest. And don't push on the touchpad, just push the palm rest. You can see it's popping open. Obviously you can use pry tools, but I always use my fingernails because that's what I got on hand and they work really well. Alright. So now that we got that, let's see if we can, I'm going to use my thumb to push this down and then pull up with my other fingers, okay? And then we're going to slide along here, and then this one you kind of have to go under here usually. So there we go, yep. Alright, we're going to rotate it, go to the other side, do the same thing, push down, pull up, and then same thing, slide underneath here to pop those. Alright, and then let's see, the back might be a little trickier. Let's see, how does this clip in? Okay, so it looks like it clips in on the sides here, so maybe it will be relatively easy. Let's see. Yep. Okay, so I just pulled up underneath on the sides here, okay, and it popped out. So there we go. We got the bottom cover off. Pretty easy. Okay. The arc reactor of Legion. There you go. Alright, so it looks like you got 2 sticks of RAM under here. It looks like you got some M.2 PCIe NVMe SSDs there. We need to figure out which fan's bad. Spinning it by hand, I can't tell. Let's see, it's probably this one, because this one's really hard to spin. I might have to grease both of them. Alright, anyways, we're gonna take the heatsink out and then redo the grease there, and most likely we're gonna have to redo, well, for sure we're gonna have to redo the thermal paste because the fans are attached underneath. Okay, so let's go ahead and disconnect the battery first. Let me see if we can use a PH1 or JS1 screwdriver. And no, we're gonna stick with the PH0 or JS0. Okay, so let's go ahead and undo these screws. Be very careful that you don't drop the screws inside because the battery is connected and you don't want to short anything out. Okay, so get that. Alright, and we're going to get all these screws out. Okay, so get that. Okay, now get this guy here. Alright, then we got this one. Oh, we're going to actually have to take out the heatsink to be able to, or the M.2 SSD to get out the rest of the battery. So let me show you here. There's a thumbnail. Okay, we're going to take this out real quick. And it looks like we're going to have to actually take out both of, we might have to take out this too. Yeah, because it's on top of the fan. So let's go ahead and remove these. Okay, so third screw up here. Now we can carefully remove this. We're going to slowly lift because most likely there's a thermal pad attached underneath. Okay, slowly, carefully. Be careful because the fan cable's kind of going over there. Okay, and there you go. Oh, you can see the thermal pad's kind of lifting. So there is the thermal pad and SSD cover. There's one screw here. This will pop up slightly and then you can pull it out. I'm not going to take it out, but yeah, you can see there's an M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD there. We're going to remove this one as well. Also has 3 screws. Okay. Third one there. Alright, and then we're going to carefully lift this as well. Most likely also has a thermal pad, so go slow. Yep. Alright. Oh, why is this stuck on here? There we go. It was kind of sticking to the tape here. Okay, so there we go. This one for some reason is aluminum, the other one's copper. So maybe this is the secondary because it doesn't need as much heat diffusion. I don't know. It's kind of strange. Right, looks like there's an there's the CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery under there. Alright, with the connector. Okay, got this other fan connector here. Right, let's go ahead now. We do have to take out this one SSD to get the battery screw out. So we'll undo that screw and we'll actually show you one SSD. You see it popped up and then you just kind of pull it back. And there you go. And these are both M.2 PCIe NVMe SSDs. This is the keyboard connector. There's a flip latch here if you're going to take that out, but I'm not taking that out, so we're going to leave that down. Okay, we'll undo the last battery screw here. And then we can go ahead and remove this. So lift this up, get underneath there, and then pinch the two. I like to wiggle it side to side as I kind of pull on it. And that should, there you go, release the battery. It's a little dusty. The battery model number is right there. L20M4PC1, right? L20M4PC1. We'll set that battery aside. Okay, and then you got other connectors going underneath. Touchpad, trackpad connectors here. Looks like there's a little cable going under here, but I'm not quite sure what that is. Most likely the keyboard backlight connector. Okay, you do have this little I/O cable for the USB port as well as the camera on-off switch here. Okay. They did tell me the wireless isn't working, but the wireless is on its own board. To do anything with that, I'm going to need their password. Alright, let me show you the RAM here. So we got there's a metal box under here. I just get underneath with my fingernail. You can use obviously a pry tool. You do have to kind of hold down the motherboard and then pull this up. Okay, be careful that you don't fling this cover off into the motherboard. So I'm just going to show you this. We don't really need to take this out to do this portion, but we're going to pull these two tabs to the side. As you can see, obviously there's 2 sticks of RAM, and this is a 16 gig PC4 3200AA stick of RAM. So you should be okay with any PC4 3200AA RAM. And yeah, so they put 2 16 gig sticks, it seems. Alright, we're going to put this cover back. Make sure the edges here line up in between these little clip thingies that were holding it before. Okay, and then just push it back down. Alright, next we're going to remove the heatsink. I wonder if this will come out with a PH1 or JS1. Yes, okay. So we're going to switch to the PH1 JS1 screwdriver. I'm going to open up the laptop, and then since we disconnected the battery, I'm going to press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds to drain any residual power. This makes it a lot safer to work on since we're pulling the heatsink out. Then we're going to do this to make sure that it's a lot safer to work on. Alright. Okay, so it should be good. We'll close this up. And then let's go ahead and undo the heatsink and fans. So there's quite a few screws holding this thing in. We are going to have to switch back to the JS1 to get, or 0 to get these 2 out. But I think the rest we can get out using the PH1. You usually want to use the larger size screwdriver to get out the screws, because then you're less likely to strip it. So I'm going to use the PH0 or JS0 first to remove these 2 screws, just so I don't forget. Okay. So that one and this one. We also want to disconnect the fans, obviously. So usually I'll go at the wings of the connector. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. Alright, so usually I'll go at the wings with my fingernails and I'll just wiggle it side to side like this, okay? And it should eventually walk itself out, okay? Depending on the connector, you might have to use a little more force pulling it, but usually just walking it like this will eventually get it out. Oh, it's being tough. Let's flip it over, and then I'm going to use my this one because there's a little more room this way. Okay, so just do that. Keep wiggling. Oh, keep wiggling. Come on. I thought it came out, but it just ended up flicking that over. Okay. Wow, this connector's really stuck in here, really strong. Jeez. Might need some pliers or something if I can't get that out that way. Let's try and get this one out. Okay, same thing. Just wiggle it and see if it will come out. Huh, it's awkward in this position. Okay, come on, come on. Wow, these connectors are really stuck in there. What in the world? How is it stuck so strong? There we go. Got one. Okay. I don't know why it's in there so strong, but it is. Okay. Hopefully you're able to see that. Okay. This one doesn't have much room here. Come on. It helps to actually push the connector more sideways than pulling it back. And then you just got to keep working at it. It's really tough. Looks like it's coming. So keep going, keep going. Come on. Jeez, what is going on here? Why is this connector so tough? Let's try turning it again, and then going with my thumbnails again. Let's actually pop the RAM cover back off. Maybe it will give me a tiny bit more room. A little bit. Okay. It's wiggling more. There we go. Okay. Yeah, it does take quite a bit of like wobbling side to side. Let's go ahead and put this back on there. Okay, let's zoom out again. Okay, we're gonna switch back over. Did I already do that? PH1, yep. Okay, so now we gotta remove 2 screws in these corners here. One up there, and then the one over here holding the fans. Okay, now that we got that, we gotta get the heatsink screws out. I like to twist them a little bit at a time, so that way it doesn't risk bending these. See, I'm like twisting it 3 times each side. Now, should be good. You can hear it slightly click. That's how you know the screw's all the way out. Okay, the springs kind of hold it up a little, so that way it's not completely pressed down. But anyways, we're gonna wiggle this. So the way you get the heatsink off, you don't want to just pull straight up. You want to rotate it side to side a little bit, so like this, okay? And that will break the seating, because the thermal paste, it sits really strong. If you try and pull it, it makes a suction, like a suction cup. So you want to like twist it, and then that breaks the seal. Now we're going to kind of lift on the thicker portions here. You can see it lifted up pretty easily, okay? And then we're going to flip it over. Okay, so the thermal paste we're gonna have to redo. The thermal pads you can reuse, but yeah, we're gonna have to clean all of this stuff off and then redo that. But first, well, let's clean off the thermal paste here first, because we're gonna try and get the this over here. I'm going to try and get the fans out, okay? So, first thing we're going to do, let me go grab a little scrapey tool. I don't know where the one, oh, here we go. Okay, and then we're going to scrape off the paste here. So zoom in so you can see a bit, and we'll just kind of scrape the paste away. And usually I'll do this over a trash can because I don't want this stuff getting all over the other thermal pads and stuff like that. So I'm going to have to pause for a bit and then dump this over a trash can. Or actually, I guess I can dump it this way, it seems. Wow, this paste is kind of all dried up. See how crusty it is? That's not good. Okay, so we got that. This side. You see it's all crusty. Yeah, it shouldn't be solid like this. It's supposed to be a paste. Okay. So the stuff being like this means that the computer's been getting really hot, overheating. Usually it means it's been going over 100 degrees Celsius. So, all right. Go. Scrape this stuff away. Alright, so I gotta clean this up and I'll be back. Alright, cleaned off the desk, put that back. We're gonna put a little isopropyl alcohol onto the paste areas here. Okay, and then we're gonna let it sit for a little bit so it can dissolve. Okay. Alright, so let that sit for a little while. And then we're gonna use some paper towel to wipe it up. So let's go ahead and try and clean this a little bit here. Okay, you can see it's coming out. Not completely, we might have to do a little bit more. But yeah, you can see how the thermal paste is kind of coming out. Oh, there we go. The edge on the plastic part, like it's kind of stained there, it doesn't come out. Alright, same thing with the GPU side. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna put a little more. Do the same thing. There we go. Okay, there we go. And then clean this up. Alright, so next thing we gotta do is try and separate the fans. Oh, there's some hair stuck in there. Okay. That's probably partially causing the problem. Let's go ahead and flip this. Be careful not to get the thermal pads all stuck to the table or whatever surface you're working on. If you're working on a softer surface, that might be even more risky, so be careful. Alright, so these fans are held in. There's 4 or 5 little screws. Okay, they each have 5 little screws. Most likely we can remove them with the JAS0 or PH0 screwdriver. If not, you might have to switch to a PH00, but it looks like the PH0 works. Okay, so get the 5 screws out here. Okay, get that over. Third one. Fifth one. There might be adhesive holding the fan down, so we'll have to see if it doesn't, yep, see it doesn't just fall out. So after undoing all those screws, this random, oh, it's just plastic, okay. So we can now kind of move this. They do have, what is that? Should be, is it being held in by this foam? Okay, it looks like that foam might be holding it, so let's see, anything else holding it in place? Unless they're hiding something under there, it shouldn't be. Doesn't look like it. I don't even see any, sometimes there's a little metal thing that latches over, but this, it's just kind of caught on, I don't know. It doesn't want to come up. We're just going to keep wiggling it. Oh, there we go. Okay, and here you go. We got this now flipped over. You can see the foam is still attached, so be careful with that. All right, there's a lot of dust stuck in here. So we're going to pull that away, clean that up. You can see. So this is like basically how your dryer, the lint gets caught in there, and then it causes a blockage of the airflow. So we're going to just clean this with a toothbrush. Okay, just like that. Clean the metal part as well. Good. All right. And then I have this air blower, the handheld one, but you can use an electric one as well. Try not to get the dust all over the heatsink stuff, okay? And then make sure to flip this and then clean that as well. All right, and that's usually not going to be enough. Usually the grease on this is bad, so we're going to have to reapply grease. Let's see if we can pull the propellers off. No, we cannot. So we're going to have to try and push it through. If you see on here, the middle, there's actually a little solid ring, which is basically the outer portion of this circle. So we're going to push on that, and you want to put even pressure. So if you can get on this side, you want to get evenly across the other side. Okay, and we're just going to push straight down. Okay, and hopefully it will be able to pop out so we can repair this fan. And it's not wanting to pop out, so we might not be able to repair this fan. We might have to get replacement fans. Yeah, that doesn't want to pop out, huh? Okay, let's try from this side here. It's hard to get a good angle with this foam. Maybe I should peel the foam completely up. Let's see. Let's peel this all the way out. There we go. Okay, and we'll put that back later. So for now, let's set this aside. Okay, so I don't know. This one doesn't seem to want to come out. So we're going to try and push again on the inside of that ring here and here. Don't push on the propellers or you'll break those, okay? And you want to hold this evenly and just try and push straight down. Jeez, this one's really stuck on there. Okay, I guess let's try this side again. Be careful for the wires there. Wow, I don't think this one's gonna come out. It might have to tell them that they need a replacement because it doesn't seem to want to come out. Yeah, this propeller assembly doesn't seem to want to come out. You can see how it kind of wiggles up and down a little bit, but you don't want to pull too hard on this. You'll break all these propellers off. My guess is it's because it's really hard to push straight evenly in the middle. There we go. Okay, so we got that out. Oh, what is it stuck to? There we go. The magnets in there is really strong. Okay, there was some dust in there, so you want to try and get all this dust out. Okay, and then I'm gonna clean this as well. Clean the propeller, set that aside so you don't get all the dust in there. I like to hold it in the middle and then let it spin as I kind of brush all around the propellers. Okay, and then same thing on this one. And you can brush it so it goes both ways, so it brushes both sides of the propeller blades. Okay, so now that we got that, we're gonna have to add some grease to this. So you can use, people use sewing oil. I just use motor oil. I have synthetic 5W30 motor oil. Again, you can use any kind of lubricant that's designed for moving parts. All right, don't use cooking oil or WD-40. WD-40 is not a lubricant. Okay, WD-40 is a water displacement, and it kind of just loosens up gunk, so you don't want to actually use that. All right, so I have this folded out paper clip. I'm going to tilt this to the side, and we're going to use that just to get a drop of oil. Okay, so we'll get a drop of oil on there, and then we'll put that in. Okay, same thing, do it again. Okay, get some oil and put that in there. So basically we're lubricating this. Usually what happens is very fine dust gets in there, and then it causes it to absorb the grease, and then it doesn't end up getting good lubrication. The dust kind of acts as a abrasive or something. It kind of dries it up, right? And then that causes some problems. So we'll do that, spin it around. I'm not going to click it down yet because we're going to clean it up and then add more grease. So let's go ahead and wipe off the shaft that got grease on it now. Okay, so we're going to clean that up just like that. All right. Okay, clean that up, and then we're going to put another drop of grease and we should be good. Okay, so we'll get another drop of grease. We'll put that in. You can use like hair trimmer oil, sewing oil, but I would use something that's more long lasting. Okay, anyways, there you go. So we got that in. Now we should be able to put this back on. I should have showed the noise first, but yeah, it goes like and then it just stops. Oh, this fan now is kind of a little bit wobbly. It's a little warped looking. See that? I don't know if it's the metal part, because the metal part was the one that was kind of really hard to keep. It's kind of, well, let's see. It should be okay if it's a little wobbly, but you got to make sure that this isn't going to be hitting the frame when you go ahead and put it back in. Like, you don't want this rubbing against there. Okay, so all right, so there we go. It's a lot better. Let's go ahead now and put this fan back on there. Okay, so the fan, flip it back over, get this back in place, line it up. All right, let's go ahead and put the screws back in, but you can go ahead and roll this up there again. Stick that on. Okay, flip this back over. All right, and then we're gonna hold this in place. You gotta hold the fan up. Oops, I dropped my little paper clip. I'll have to look for that later. We'll hold the fan up in place, and then we'll get all these screws in. Okay. There we go. Second one. Third one. Okay, fourth one. This fan was pretty difficult to remove from the thing, so if for some reason you end up breaking the fan, then you're gonna have to pretty much buy a replacement. There's no way around it if you break the propellers. All right, there we go. And then the last screw here. Okay, and you can see it spins well, and it doesn't have any issues hitting or rubbing against the casing. There we go. It spins well. The way you know the lubrication is good, you see that little jiggle? That jiggle means that it doesn't have any friction holding it back. I mean, it still has friction obviously, but a lot, like very low amount, okay? So we're gonna do the same thing with this fan here. Okay, get all the screws out. Sorry. Okay. Get all 5, and there's probably going to be a bunch of dust in this one as well. Okay, I'll flip this over. Alright, this one has a lot of that adhesive there, so let's see. We're going to wiggle this. It's kind of getting caught. Most likely that adhesive is kind of stuck holding it. Okay, carefully wiggle. Wiggle and jiggle. Come on. Why is it holding so strong? Is it the tape here? Oh, maybe it's this tape. So we'll peel this. Okay. There we go. And then, oh yeah. Wow, okay, look at all that dust that's in here. You see that? See? So this is the kind of stuff that ends up clogging it, causing it to overheat and everything. Yeah, no good. All right, so we gotta make sure to clean that up. Oops, sorry, my head's getting in the way. All right, so now that we got that, let's kind of dust this out a bit. Okay, and then we got this fan propellers. This one has 2, so I'm kind of more scared to separate it. I don't know if it will. I think it should be okay. All right, let's go ahead and slowly peel this up. There we go. All right, there's a little hair there. Okay, so there we go. We got this out. We'll set this aside. And now we got to pop this out. Same thing as the other one. So same thing. You want to go evenly from side to side. Okay, so go right there and then the other side. And we're going to kind of brace everything and then push straight down. Wow, that's tough. Okay, let's see here. So this one also is wobbly. You can see how bad it is. You see it doesn't do that wobble side to side. So that's, the grease is bad on this. Okay, so we gotta push real hard to pop it out. There we go. Actually, this one didn't take as much force. Interesting. So there we go. Oh, that's bad. Look at that. There's hair and stuff in there. Okay, so we're gonna have to clean that out. Okay, just get a piece of paper, kind of spin it around. Wow, that's pretty bad. Wow, that's a lot of hair that's stuck in there. Oh my god. You see that? I don't know if you can see. Okay. Definitely a big reason why it's getting bad. Look at all that. You see that tangled bit of hair? Wow, okay. Clean that up. All right, let me go find the little paper clip I dropped. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Let's get some oil in this thing. Okay. Dip it in there, okay. Just like that, okay. Then we're gonna go ahead and put this back in, twirl it a little bit, pull it back out, okay. Clean the oil off of this. Okay, it's pretty clean. All right, I'm gonna brush this a little bit better since we have it open right now. Again, you want to do both sides, both directions. Okay, same thing over here. Okay, all right, we're gonna put a little more grease in, then reassemble this, and you should see it do that wobble. That's the important part. If you see it doing that wobble back and forth, then you know we're good. All right, so we only need one drop in here. All right, clean off the stuff that overspilled here. Okay, close this up, set that aside. All right, so we'll get this back on. Click it down, and there you go. All right, you see that little wobble? Okay, that's how you know it's good. All right, so let's go ahead and reassemble this thing, and we should be good to go. We do have to redo the thermal paste, but other than that, we should be good after that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this all back in. Okay, line it up. Roll this back out over. Okay. Roll that back out on top. And you can stick this down as well. Oops. That didn't go as planned. Okay, let's get this back on. Come on, stay in place. Okay, roll that back out. Stick that back down. Okay, I have to hold this better. Okay. I pushed on it and then that shoved the whole thing down. So that I'm probably gonna have to use a little thing to get that all into place. There we go. Okay, now keep holding on to this. And let's get all the screws back in. Okay. Go. We got all of that back assembled. Okay, so the fans are good. We gotta now work on cleaning up the thermal paste on this end. Okay, all right, so most likely this paste isn't gonna just come off, but let's see. Yeah, oh, it is coming, it's just tough. Okay, so we gotta kind of wipe all of this off. Okay. It's coming out. Alright, just takes a bit of elbow grease. Alright. So we're gonna have to clean up the GPU one as well. But this one, because there's all this stuff in between, these raised things, we're gonna have to also use a toothbrush a little bit for that. So this one's kind of a bit more of a pain. Usually what I do is I use like one of these. Let me actually clean up some of the dust over here because there's dust on this as well. Okay, so let's zoom in here. I am going to have to clean this up a bit as well. So I'm going to use this to kind of scrape it. Okay. We got a little bit of that stuff here, so you gotta be careful. Let's get that out. Okay, oops. Hopefully it was in view. I don't know. Then we're going to scrape all of this out. Wow, the GPU is like discolored paste here. Okay, scrape this up. Again, be careful for the little raised bump things there. Again, I am going to have to use a toothbrush later to clean in between all of that. It's kind of a pain. It is what it is. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do this over the trash can so I don't drop this all over the motherboard. So let me do that and I'll be back. Okay, got most of it. Now I gotta try and scrape in between. Try and get between all of these little thingies. You can honestly probably be fine with just leaving this stuff here, but I try and clean it up if I can. This one's pretty bad. There's a lot of paste in between here. So I'm basically gonna clean all of this up. Right, so let me do that and I'll be back. Alright, so that's probably about as good as we're gonna get it. So let's go ahead and put some isopropyl alcohol and clean it off. Alright, so I had to use the little scraping tool, this, to kind of get in between all those little things, the pointy end, and then use a toothbrush to clean it up a bit more. It was really difficult because the thing is really stiff, but it's probably the best we can do. Okay, so there we go. Got that off. And now we're going to clean this up. Okay. Try and clean this up a little bit more with isopropyl alcohol. Okay. Dry it up a bit. There we go. All right. Make sure it's dry. All right, so let's go ahead now, apply the thermal paste and then reassemble this thing, okay? So thermal paste, you don't really need a lot. As you saw, they like overflowed it, and you don't really need very much. You use like a small amount. On this one, about the size of a grain of rice. Okay. And you kind of build a mound in the center. When you put the heatsink on, it will spread it super thin, and that will cover the whole CPU. Okay, so hopefully you can see what's going on here. Okay, just like that. And then the GPU, since this one is more of a square, you just put a blob in the center. Like that. And it will spread super thin, so might not look like much, but it will spread super thin. Okay. This little blob will become thinner than a sheet of paper, and that will cover the whole thing once that pressure is applied on top. Okay, so just like that, put that in the center. All right, we're gonna zoom out now, and we're gonna put the heatsink back on. Also, I guess if you want to see what it looks like, there you go. Okay, so we're gonna put this now. All right, make sure this is all on nice. Okay, let's take that down. All right, so we're gonna now do this. Also, the things are numbered, so you know which side to put in first. Okay, we're gonna line up these corners first here because it has the little raised mounts, and then we're gonna drop that down. Okay, so again, these are numbered. Let's see, so you got 1, 2, okay, so you got 1 here. So what I like to do, we're gonna have to switch back first to the PH1 or JS1. Okay, and then push down, twist backwards, you'll hear it click, and then go 1, 2, 3. Okay, second one, same thing, click, 1, 2, 3. Okay, third one, same thing, click, 1, 2, 3. Fourth one here, click, 1, 2, 3. Fifth one, click, 1, 2, 3. And sixth one, click, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're going to do the same thing, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And tighten it all the way. And tighten that all the way. Okay, tighten the third one all the way, tighten the fourth one all the way, okay, tighten the fifth one all the way, and the sixth one all the way. Obviously, you want to make sure that the fan cables aren't underneath the fans, okay? And then we'll get back the little, oops, we gotta switch back over. Well, let's put the corner ones first, so, sorry if we went out of view, this one. Since we're still using the PH1 or JS1 screwdriver. Okay, and now you can check the fans. You can see they spin nicely. Okay. I don't know what part is making it look like wobbly like that, but anyways, reconnect the fan connector, line everything up, and then you want to actually pinch both pieces together like that. Okay, perfect. Same thing with this one. Line it up. Make sure it goes in. Why is it being difficult? Come on. Put back in there. Okay, and then pinch it back together. There we go. So we got all of that. We're going to switch to the PH0 or JS0 screwdriver again, and we'll get these two in. This one and this one. Alright, and then we do need to, oh, is that the, why is this random, why is there a random screw here? Oh, that's for the SSD. Okay. Alright, next thing we gotta do, I guess we can put back this heatsink first because there's no battery screw under there, right? So we can put this one back first. Line that up. Okay. Alright, and we'll tighten all these into place. This one. And this guy here. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and put the battery back because the battery is hidden, the connectors underneath. So we'll put this, and we have to actually get this in because I don't think we can do it later. Pinch that back together. Good. All right, so this laptop is designed to where you actually have to connect the battery before you get everything else reconnected. So the SSD goes in at an angle like this, push it in. Okay. Lower this down, and then we'll tighten that back in. I need to figure out, because the customer told me their Wi-Fi is also bad. Hopefully it's not from overheating. I mean, the fan is here, so it's away from the heat source. The heat is here and here. A lot of people think that the fan gets super hot. It does not. This area gets hot and this area gets hot because that's where the heat sink. The heat goes here and then it pulls it to these vacuum little tubes, and then it gets spread out by these what do you call, like radiator fins. All right, so yeah, it doesn't get super hot on the fan. And then also one pulls air in, the other one blows air out. So yeah, I guess in theory, because it's pulling air through the heated pipe, then it will get kind of hot, but not like super hot. It's not enough to like melt this stuff. Okay, so it shouldn't be causing the wireless card to fail. If anything, the SSD is more likely to, because it gets hot and it has this metal plate here, but that also shouldn't get hot enough to cause the wireless card to fail. So my guess is it's a software thing and probably just a coincidence. Oh, did I put the thing back first and then I didn't put the screw. Okay, we gotta take this back off because I didn't put the screw that was hidden under there back first. Okay, carefully peel this back up. Take this guy back out. Okay, get this screw back in. Okay, get this screw in. There we go. Get all these back in. One and the last one here. Alright, let's get the rest of the battery screws in, and then we'll pretty much be done. Can power it up, and we shouldn't have any more of that fan noise. So get that screw. You can actually test it before we get it completely reassembled, and then that way you can even see the fan spinning. Okay. screw here. All right, let's go ahead and power this up and see what we got. So we'll zoom out a little bit. Let's see if we can do a new thumbnail with all the clean, with everything cleaned up a little bit more. Okay, I think that's good, right? Okay, so there we go. There's the thumbnail. All right, let's go ahead and open this up and see if it powers up. I didn't remove the CMOS battery, so it should. Yep, okay. And you can see both fans spinning. We're not getting any weird noises, so we should be good to go. All right, both fans are spinning. And they're spinning smooth. This one's not doing the weird wobbly thing anymore. So, yeah. We should be good to go. You heard it boot up to Windows 11. And I'm going to have to shut it down because some people don't want their username to be shown. So I'll shut that down. And then I'll have to figure out the wireless issue. It's most likely just a driver. You go in the device manager, delete it, and then re-add it. But I'll have to ask the customer for their password because I don't think they gave me that. All right, so it should be shutting down. And then we just got to put the bottom cover back on. Alright, so got that all dusted out, so make sure to also dust out the bottom cover, because why not? Alright, so there we go. Get this lined up. Okay, so this side has to go first. Click that back on. Okay. Click the sides in. Work your way down. Alright, there we go. Now we just got to put all the screws back in and we're good to go. Again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Right? If you can't help out that way, again, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well. Because, yeah, that's what the algorithm likes to see. Also, I have another channel that's called It's Been Reviewed and More. And I'm trying to split off my content so that this will only be repair content on this channel. But I can't really do that until that channel reaches at least 500 subscribers. So if you guys can subscribe to that channel, it's basically the same as this one, but the display picture or whatever you want to call that little octopus squid guy, it's more zoomed in. So that's how you know it's the other channel. So hopefully you guys can find that one and subscribe to that as well. That'll help me out a lot. All right, so we'll just get the last few screws in and we're good to go. If the wireless thing seems to be some other part, I mean, if it's the replacement, then I have a lot of videos showing how to replace wireless cards. Basically, you pull up from the tail to release the antennas, and then the card comes out just like the SSD. So anyways, that's pretty much it. They had this little USB in here, so we'll put that back. Okay. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Let's drop this. Bye.